Hey guys, welcome back to Filter Coffee Football. What a match week of football. 9 matches, one shy because Chelsea are traveling for the Club World Cup. Maybe they'll win a trophy this season after all. But yeah, let's kick right off. West Ham United 1, Watford nil. Lots of controversy at the outset of this match with Zuma being picked to start, followed by some really choice comments by Antonio. Nonetheless, Moyes' justification of will at least make the board happy as they picked up the 3 points to get them back inside the top four, even if just temporarily.
Man City versus Brentford. City at home in their fine form. Brentford losing out on their early season form. It was always going to be 3 points for City. Riyad Mahrez can take a penalty with a blindfold on. What a masterclass. What a penalty, man.
Newcastle 3, Everton 1. Lampard returns to the Premier League after tasting FA Cup success in his first match in charge at Merseyside. Say what you will about their treasure trove, the acquisition of Kieran Trippier is nothing shy of a masterstroke for the Magpies. In the here and now, he may prove to be the difference between safety and relegation. Meanwhile, Everton may suddenly be viewed as dark horses for the relegation scrap. What a wacky final few weeks we might be up for.
Norwich won, Crystal Palace won. This was a game to watch. Although the result was a stalemate, we saw two incredible goals. Milot Rashica, who took a run straight down the flank, ball to Timo Pukki, and Pukki scores. Now for the next one. Michael Oli sends a 40-yard diagonal. Wilfred Zaha takes two touches and third touch is a banger. You have to watch both those goals. I think that's a contender for goal of the month.
Manchester United 1, Burnley 1. It seems like the rest of the league has vowed to keep the relegation battle interesting. United were just two completely different teams on either side of halftime, allowing their defense to be outrun by Weghorst, who slowly seems to be finding his feet. Ye old slabhead inviting the most recent round of criticism from United fans as they slump to yet another poor result on the back of elimination from the FA Cup. This season is not turning out as they had hoped.
Aston Villa 3, Leeds United 3. Another entertaining draw. I think this could be called a game of two halves because the first half had 5 goals, the second half had one. Kudos to Jacob Ramsey. Man, what a stellar player he's turning out to be.
Tottenham Hotspur 2, Southampton 3. Conte was armed with the fresh Juve cast-offs to aid in their fight for top 4, but when James Ward-Prowse channels his inner Kevin De Bruyne, you just cannot help but concede goals. It's surprising that Spurs only lost by the one goal, considering that Southampton were basically the only source of entertainment this entire match over at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Liverpool 2, Leicester City nil. The result was never in doubt, only the how and by how many was the question. Klopp must be ecstatic at not only getting back Salah and Mane, while Mane is still out celebrating recent successes, but also the returning Harvey Elliott and the newly consigned Luis Diaz, who looked right at home in his very first outing with the Reds. Leicester, they just need to keep their head above water at this point and see out the rest of the season.
Wolves nil, Arsenal 1. A scrappy goal by Gabriel, but another incident was the highlight of this game. A double yellow in one single incident. The FA and PGMOL have a lot to explain. Apart from that, great win for a 10-man Arsenal. Good for them to get those 3 points and be secure about their top 4 ambitions.
Match day 25. Chelsea still reveling in their win at the Club World Cup. So Chelsea versus Arsenal was postponed. So let's kickstart with the remainders. Manchester United 1, Southampton 1. Same story, different day. A game of two halves, or so the story goes. More news of discontent behind the scenes. Is it reliable? Who cares? Top 4 will be a true achievement this season despite the talent on hand. Southampton, meanwhile, don't seem to care what half of Manchester you are from, as they have picked up now 4 points from 4 matches against both City and United this season.
Watford nil to Brighton and Hove Albion. Fresh off of retirement, Roy Hodgson comes back to his secure 4-4-2 formation. Watford end up defending really well, but can't finish their chances. Blame Emmanuel Dennis or blame not having the curl. For Brighton, Tariq Lamptey is going to be a cash cow.
Everton 3, Leeds nil. What a respite for Everton fans as they witnessed what was probably their best performance of the season so far. They played Leeds at their own game with a high energy press that wreaked havoc on Bielsa's defense. The Argentine maestro was left white in the face as his side came away with 0 points. The thin squad still reeling from the intense draw versus Villa.
Brentford nil, Crystal Palace nil. I wonder if whether it's no Ivan Toney, no party, because that seems to be the case with Brentford right now. They were also unlucky to not get a penalty for an apparent handball, but I think that was that from that game. No, not much of a bite from both teams. Ended up settling for a point each.
Norwich City nil, Manchester City 4. They're still only human, is what Mike Dean said right before the start of the match, trying to instill some confidence in the Canaries. In the opening 15 minutes, that confidence was on full display. But Pep's quote unquote men turned into superhumans on the flip of a hat. Specifically, Raheem Sterling, who netted a hat trick as a parting gift for Smith's team.
Newcastle 1-0 Aston Villa. The game for two fresh managers. The game which Eddie Howe actually won, which was quite surprising because Aston Villa were high flying. Newcastle United dominated this game throughout. Aston Villa lacked Ezri Konsa in defense, and maybe that could be partly to blame. Kudos to Kieran Trippier. What a signing he's been. He's just converting free kicks all this while.
Tottenham Hotspur nil, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Spurs absolutely needed the 3 points to keep pace with the top 4, so obviously they lost. They conceded 2 goals to what can only be described as comical defending and left themselves a very tall mountain to climb against a team who definitely don't muck about when it comes to keeping the ball out of the net. At this rate, Spurs might as well start looking for a replacement in the summer because Antonio Conte is that close to yet another world famous meltdown.
Burnley nil, 1 Liverpool. A result which doesn't sound surprising at all, but if you did watch the game, it would have been surprising because Burnley should have won this game. The amount of chances they created yet failed to score speaks volumes about Burnley. And Fabinho comes to the rescue as usual. His 5th goal in 7 games. That leads to Liverpool taking away all 3 points.
Leicester City 2, West Ham United 2. Frustrated faces on either side as West Ham let slip an early lead only to be chasing an equalizer late on in the match, and Leicester quite poor on holding on to their own lead all the way through the 90s. West Ham still find themselves in the 4th spot but slowly conceding ground to the chasing pack. Jared Bowen, however, continues to have an absolute banger of a season. Bigger clubs have definitely started sniffing around. And that was that for another match day of incredible football. The top 4 race is really heating up, and so is that relegation battle. Liverpool trying to chase Manchester City, but that might just be a bridge too far. See you guys next time. As always, like, share, subscribe, and take care. Bye.